is Simply Sherbets, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a full breakdown of our real monthly budget. Now, the reason why I feel like this is important to share is I think a lot of people see the goals that we're reaching over on Instagram and they'll say like, how in the world are you guys doing this on your income? So I really want to kind of break down how much we make, what we spend in each category. And I'm also going to share some tips with you guys about how we keep these categories fairly inexpensive when it comes to our budget. Some of them might apply to you and some of them might be unique to us because we live in Japan. So let's get started. First of all, we get paid 2 separate times a month, but for this video, I'm actually just gonna share basically what our total income is for the month. Both of the paychecks tend to be split very evenly for a regular paycheck, so you can just expect us to get at least half of this number on the 1st and then the other half on the 15th. And then the other thing that I will mention is that I have already taken out giving from this budget. We don't share how much we give because we do feel like that's kind of between us and God. That's something that we don't want to be like parading around. So after giving's taken out, this is the number that we're left with. Just for my husband's 2 paychecks, we get paid $9,642 a month. I'm not including my paychecks in here because we actually save every dollar of my paychecks. So this is the only paycheck that we actually have to budget out. So the first thing that we have on the list is housing and utilities. For us living here in Japan, the military does cover our housing, but they pay us that amount exactly in our paycheck. So that is covered at $1,900 a month. Now, sometimes this is a little lower and sometimes it's barely higher, maybe $1 or $2 more, but we haven't really had it over about $1,902. But again, we've only lived here for 3 months. And I don't expect it to be any higher because we have only been using 1 air conditioning unit at a time. Like whichever room we're in, we use that air conditioner. We don't turn on the hot water heater. So I'm kind of expecting the summertime to have been the most expensive. So hopefully in the winter it will be less. So the next line item on our budget is $1,600 that's automatically sent to retirement investing. Now we're really fortunate to have set that up for automatic investing because really it kind of tricks us into sending money over to that account. Essentially, it just goes straight over there. We never see it. So we never are really missing it. We're just budgeting based on the money that we already have. And so I highly suggest that for everyone if you can, even if it's $50 a paycheck, just getting that sent over to an investment account and making sure that it's being invested is like a great way to trick yourself into saving money for your future self. Now, the next line item we have in our budget is $500. That is our monthly grocery budget. Now, here in Japan, it's a little bit different than in the States because food is less expensive here when you shop out in town. So we don't tend to spend a lot of money on groceries anyways, but here in Japan, it's even less. Now, when we did live in the States, we kind of followed the same method that we follow here, which is we only buy like a meat source, and then we also buy something that we can eat kind of across the board. So for example, here in Japan, we eat rice at almost every single meal, and then we just change the meat that we eat. And then for breakfast, we of course have eggs. And so we really just keep with like very simple ingredients. We don't buy a lot of extras, and that saved us money, not just in the States, but here also. Our next category in the budget is personal spending, which we have set at $260 a month. Now, each of us get a little bit of spending money every single week, and we're able to use that for things like Starbucks trips if we want to. Our daughter tends to use hers on crafts. My husband uses his a lot when it comes to like special drinks or things when he's running. So that money is just in there for us to be able to spend some money on things that we personally want without having to track it in the budget. The next category in our budget is $60 that we use for gas every single month. Now, our gas budget is a lot smaller than it was back in the States because here in Okinawa, we drive a teeny tiny little car. It's literally the size of like an enclosed golf cart. So really there's not an opportunity to use a ton of gas. And when we originally moved here, we thought we were going to spend about $20 a week, but now we're kind of learning that we're spending probably $20 every 2 weeks. But I do always want to have a little buffer in there. Now, when we were back in the States, we did save money on gas by just owning 1 vehicle, and my husband would ride his bike to work many, many days. That not only helped with his training, but it definitely helped us keep a little bit lower of a gas budget there. So if you do live in the States, it is possible to limit your gas budget, but it just takes a little bit more work. Next line item in our budget is haircuts, which is $50 a month. Now, this is actually not for me or for our daughters. My husband is, of course, a Marine, and if you're married to a Marine, you know they have to get a haircut every single week. So his haircuts every single week are a little bit more than $10, so we just budgeted in there $50 for that. The next line item we have on our budget is massages, and we spend $200 a month on massages. We have a standing appointment every single Saturday with our massage place, and Stacy and I just take turns switching back and forth about who goes. This is really great for his recovery, and it's really great for me. I tend to get a lot of back soreness, so having a massage every other week is really awesome. And it's worth the $200 a month to spend. So that really shows you that we're doing values-based budgeting, because we don't care about a lot of things, but like massages is definitely something that we care about. The next category in our budget is dining out, which we have at $260 a month. Now, this is really important for us here in Japan because it gives us the opportunity to try new restaurants around, try new foods. We are big foodies when it comes to trying things anywhere we travel or we live. So this $260 in the budget is important because we're kind of balancing out having the experience here while also not overspending when it comes to eating out. Next up, we spend $232 on our cell bill every single month. Now, this is a category that I kind of hate because when we lived back in the States, we were paying $720 total per year for both of our phone lines. And so that was like a really nice, I guess, setup. We had Mint Mobile at the time, but Mint Mobile doesn't service here in Japan. So we actually had to go with a different cell service. And that being $232 a month just pains me so much, but I know we have to have it because we are able to keep US numbers, and so we're able to kind of keep in touch with family that way a little bit better than if we had a Japanese number. Now, our second to last category is sinking funds, which is $300 a month. Now, this goes for anything from car maintenance to once a year car insurance or once a year renter's insurance. The money that we spend on those things kind of comes out of that sinking fund amount. If we're going to make an order for clothing, it usually comes out of the sinking fund. Things like Spotify or subscriptions will come out of that. So we just like to keep kind of like that big buffer in there to make sure that those expenses are covered. And then the very last category that we have are financial goals. And this is essentially all the money that's left over after we have spent everything else in our budget. And that is $4,280 per month. And that $4,280 a month goes into our high yield savings account or our regular brokerage account. It's basically just all money that we are putting aside for our future. If you follow me over on Instagram at Simply Sherberts, you already know that we're retiring in 5 years, and at that time we plan to be work optional. So really just every month we're putting aside as much money as possible to that account, and that's about 61% of my husband's paycheck is going to either retirement investing or those financial goals. And my paycheck 100% goes to that. So all in all, we save probably about 65 to 70% of our total income every single month is going to the future. And I know a lot of people think that's kind of crazy. They're like, well, why don't you just enjoy the now? But we know that in 5 years, it's going to be worth every single month that we are just putting aside the majority of the income. So thanks for coming along with me as I shared kind of through our monthly budget and a few ways in which we save money and a few ways in which we spend it. If you enjoy content like this, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit that little bell to be notified anytime I upload new videos. And then if you are active over on Instagram, come follow me at Simply Sherberts. And I hope to see you guys next video.